All right, next, yes, Harvard Law Professor Emeritus and the author of the Preventive State, The Challenge of Preventing Serious Harms While Preserving Essential Liberties. Always happy to have Alan Dershowitz with us. Well, Mr. Dershowitz, the Epstein files are supposed to be coming out. President said to release the files. All the files will be released. And, well, do you think they should all be released? And, Alan, I was on, I guess it was Piers Morgan podcast with you, I believe. And you said you have a copy of all the files and you're not going to release them because you've been told not to by your lawyers. But if the president says release them, can't you release them?
No, you need judicial approval. I only have the files in my case where you may remember I was falsely accused. And then the woman immediately said, oh, she was young and she may have confused me with someone else. And she withdrew her lawsuit and withdrew all of her charges. So I have all the files in that case. But what I know about the files is they contain a lot of material that show that some of the witnesses, some of the accusers, some of the, quote, survivors are liars and bigots. Let me give you an example. There's a woman named Maria Farmer. She's been all over the place. CNN, she's been on MSNBC. Nobody ever questions her. Here's what she said in something that hasn't been released, something that's been suppressed. She said, I have a hard time with the Jewish people. All the Jewish people I met are pedophiles who run the economy. They're under the control of the Rothschilds. This is a woman who's a blatant anti-Semite, and she has accused only Jews. Don't you think the public has the right to know that? Don't you think when she appears on CNN, the CNN commentators should say, oh, yeah, I know you've accused Wexner and you've accused this person and that person, all of whom are Jewish. Didn't you also say that all Jews essentially are pedophiles? How do you explain that? Why should we believe you if you say things like that? And there are numerous other witnesses who have real problems with their credibility. So the problem is you can't release half the files. You can't release the accusations unless you also release the information that would show that some of the accusations are false. Now we have a new thing being introduced, McCarthyism. We have some congressmen saying they're going to hold up a list the way Joseph McCarthy did. I have a list of 20 people. I'm going to give you the names, but I'm not going to tell you anything about them. And I'm going to only give you the names of the people who are accused. I'm not going to give you the names of the accusers because those are confidential. That's McCarthyism. So we have to have everything out there. I've said from day one, put everything out, no redactions, no exceptions. Everything has to come out.
So do you think that will happen? And the reason why I ask this is because in the last, I guess, week or week and a half or so, I believe Trump has instructed Bondi to open up investigations into some of the Democrats' names that were allegedly on the list. And so if they do that, does that mean those files will be redacted or held back?
They will be. For example, just 30 seconds ago, you showed a picture of Jeffrey Epstein with a very prominent scientist who is the inventor of artificial intelligence, Marvin Minsky. He's on the list. He's accused. He's dead. And there's no opportunity for him to respond. But if the woman or the women who accused him have all kinds of problems of credibility, if they've lied about other people, don't you think the public has the right to know that? And yet we're being given half of the material. We're not being given all the material. I want everything out there. I've wanted everything out there from day one. The day I was accused, I said I waive all of my rights to privacy, lawyer confidentiality, because I knew I had done nothing wrong. So I have nothing to lose by having everything come out. You know, if you're guilty, obviously you want to suppress material. But if you're a false accuser, and there are many false accusers, there are women and lawyers who have gotten rich on this thing. There are women who've collected $50,000 who never met Jeffrey Epstein, whose lawyers put them up to it. And they put the money in the bank and they walk away. And even some of the women who were at the press conference who wouldn't answer questions have questionable backgrounds and questionable credibility. So I want everything out there, nothing suppressed, period.
So why do you think the Democrats, with Jamie Rass, they're all requesting the Epstein files to be released? And like you said, we've had Gouffre, who killed herself. Before she killed herself, she said, no, I never saw Trump there. And women, victim after victim, saying that, I never saw him involved, or if he was there, he wasn't really involved in that. Why are they so anxious to get their hands on this list? Aren't there going to be a lot of Democrats on this list too?
Yeah, but for example, Maria Farmer said she saw Donald Trump in Jeffrey Epstein's office, but she is a certified liar. I mean, she has said things that are demonstrably untrue. We're going to see Democrats, we're going to see Republicans, we're going to see a lot of innocent people having their names smeared. Of course, my name is on the list. I was his lawyer. I was on his plane a dozen times, flying down to legal issues. There are other people who are his accountants, who are friends who were friends of his before he was ever charged with anything. So we have to avoid this new McCarthyism, this new Epstein McCarthyism. And yes, a lot of Democrats will be swept in as well, which is probably why there has been such reluctance. That list of 20, I've seen descriptions of the list, and I know several of them are Democrats, and I've seen myself names of Democrats. The majority leader, former majority leader of the Senate, the former ambassador to the United Nations, Democrats, they're on the list, but that doesn't mean they're guilty. And so we have to get back to the American presumption of innocence and prove innocence until proved guilty. And do not believe everything that's said, particularly when you have somebody who gets on the floor of the Senate and says, I'm going to read a list and I'm going to read it so that nobody can come after you or me because I have a privilege. And if I release a name, that's the end of it. We can't allow that to happen. That's what Joe McCarthy did back in the 1940s. And
Alan, Professor, I just less than a minute. Larry Summers has resigned from a board, an AI board. He seems to be pulling back. Why would he be doing that? I mean, do you think he's going to be implicated in some nefarious activities? Because he's acting awful guilty right now.
No, I think he's probably, I'm speculating. He may have had problems with his wife because among the emails was an email that talked about him not wanting to have a relationship with a woman when he has friends without benefits. That suggests maybe that he wanted to have an affair. I don't know. It's unclear. But I can see him stepping back because of concerns about his wife and his family and his personal life. Look, if I were Larry Summers, I would have handled this very differently. I would have said, there's nothing in there that shows criminality. My relationship with my wife and others is my business. I'm not going to comment any further.
Yeah, and folks, let's remind the folks he's a former Harvard president of Harvard and former Bill Clinton Treasury Secretary as well. All right, Alan, we got to go. Professor Dershowitz, always good to have you on, my friend. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.